In the headlines, traders express concern over slow pace of rescue operation after building collapse in Kano. Bandits abduct 4 people in Katsina village. EFCC arrests illegal miners in Kwara. And on the foreign scene, EU ministers agreed to suspend Russian visa facilitation deal. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. Nearly 24 hours since the Kano building tragedy, traders and rescued victims of the Kano incident are expressing concern over the slow pace of the ongoing rescue operation. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibril reports that government authorities are hoping that there will be no more victims inside the rubble that has so far killed 3 and injured 6. The report.
Fear, anger, and anxiety as some traders and rescued victims of the collapsed building in Beirut Road, Kano, begins to express concern over the slow progress in the rescue operations.
The situation is disturbing because we believe there are still people inside and work is moving too slow.
But the Kano State Emergency Management Agency assures that there is no cause for alarm because as per the agency's analysis, there might not be any other person trapped in the building.
Yeah, we are here yesterday night after around 11 o'clock when we confirmed from the leadership of the Traders Association here in Beirut Road that so far what we have rescued, about 8 of them, they don't expect there's anybody again. So this is why we raised our case to this morning when we continue with the clearance of the site. So we are now clearing outside, as you can see. This does not mean we will not go check again and see whether there's any leftover of the casualties.
So far, 3 people have died here, including an electricity worker who was electrocuted while disconnecting some cables around the markets.
Only one as of yesterday, I don't know of today. Only one. In fact, there are some of them who were even discharged yesterday. But the medical director is the one to confirm whether or not they are still in the hospital.
For now, a total of 8 people have been recovered from this building, while investigation to ascertain the possible causes of the building collapse commenced by the state government authorities. Idris Jibril, Trust TV News, Kano.
And to security now, where bandits numbering about 40 riding on motorcycles stormed Kabomo village of Bakori local government area of Katsina State, abducting 4 people, including a woman who is 9 months pregnant. The terrorists opened fire in the air with sophisticated firearms to scare villagers before breaking into their victims' houses. In a telephone chat, some residents told Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi that some of the villagers, especially women and children, are fleeing the community. The attack comes 5 days after terrorists struck at Bakwari town and Danja, where they killed 2 and went away with several other victims. Meanwhile, the Ilorin Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in collaboration with the Kwara State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, and Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, have arrested 13 suspected illegal miners operating in Kakafu village in Pategi local government area of Kwara State. The suspects were arrested during a joint operation which followed credible intelligence received by the EFCC about some suspected illegal miners operating in the area. According to the federal miner in Kwara State, Henry Bolarinwa, the suspects were arrested at a village called Kakafu in Lade community in Pategi local government area of Kwara State. He said the 5 trucks fully loaded with different brands of solid minerals were recovered from the suspects and could be used in the production of batteries for manufacturing of electrical vehicles.
This is just in furtherance of the clamping down on the illegal mining activities in the state. This happened to be the joint effort of the EFCC and Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in collaboration with my ministry, the Federal Ministry of Mines and State Development. So we were able to clamp down on the illegal mining activities, which has led to economic sabotage in the state. And this is the thing that really happened today. Is still in conjunction with the FOX, which is the Surveillance Task Force that was inaugurated by the ministry some times ago in checkmating the illegal mining activities in the state. So this incident happened yesterday, 30th day in the month of August 2022, while the joint task force of these 3 security agencies were able to clamp down on these illegal mining activities in the state, which has really helped to forestall the glory and restore what these people have been taken away from the state.
And to politics now, where PDP vice presidential candidate and Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has taken exception to suggestions by the APC vice presidential candidate Kashim Shettima of domiciling security responsibilities in the office of the vice president. Shettima had at the NBA annual general meeting in Lagos hinted that if elected into office, Bola Tinubu will handle the economy, while security matters should be within the purview of the vice president. Speaking in Kano, Okowa punctured this suggestion.
First, as I did say at the beginning, my emergence and the cries about it is all the politics. It's all the politics and the competition. A lot of people will be qualified, and as I did say in my interview with Arise and Channels, so many of us were eminently qualified that I happen to be chosen. And I think it's God's grace. I've spoken about that.
Meanwhile, the Labour Party says it will win the 2023 general elections, contrary to the impression created that its supporters are largely social media influencers. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Arambambi Abayomi, said this in Lagos, explaining that more than 22 million registered voters have indicated interest in the party. The report.
Many believe the Labour Party has its support base in the social media where youths are very active. But Labour Party Publicity Secretary Arambambi Abayomi said Nigerians are yearning for change as the ruling All Progressive Congress APC has failed to meet the expectations of the people. Abayomi urged the APC-led government to get ready to vacate office in 2023, noting that nomination of card-carried members and former aspirants as resident electoral commissioners will not save the party from defeat.
From the east to the west, to the northern part of Nigeria, the new song in town is Peter Obi for president, because the market that another Nigerian, patronizes is the same market. They in the north, in the south, in the east. We are one Nigerian, and it is only Peter Obi that is the pan-Nigerian person, that want to become president of Nigeria and not a sectional president.
Abayomi also presented the certificate of return to the Lagos State governorship candidate, saying the controversy that trailed the party primary was unnecessary. It will be recalled that Ifegbemi Awamaridi, the embattled state chairman and governorship candidate of the party, had insisted that he remained the chairman and governorship candidate of the party, having won the primaries earlier conducted and his name published by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. However, Abayomi maintained that Awamaridi was a placeholder and had voluntarily resigned as recommended by law, which he said necessitated the conduct of the substitute primary witnessed by INEC. And
I challenge Amaridi, go to court, come and serve all the process with your lawyer. We don't care. And we also have it a good authority that, he has compromised the position. This is not the first time. He has a way of just, holding forth to gubernatorial seat, going to court, threatening the incumbent, to just make little change for himself. But those nonsense are stopped, in this dispensation, and we will not tolerate such a thing.
The newly appointed 24-man caretaker executive committee of the party in the state were also inaugurated on behalf of the National Working Committee of the party.
And reactions have continued to trail the continuous warning by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to politicians and political parties to desist from engaging in early campaigns before September 28th. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman speaks to some stakeholders in the nation's political space on culpability and prescribed sanctions.
Section 92 of the Electoral Law bars politicians and their political parties from engaging in any form of campaign ahead of the stipulated time, which is the 28th of September in the case of the 2023 elections.
If you do your investigation properly, you will discover that what we are doing is we are setting up our structures, strengthening them, and we are strengthening our structures. So what you saw us went to Nasarawa to do was just to, formally open the state secretariat of the party.
If the ruling party behaves responsibly, they will lead by example, and nobody will do it without being punished. But if the ruling party candidates are doing it, it's going to be difficult to stop the other political parties and other politicians from doing it. So it is something that the ruling party ought to have led by example.
But while the respondents continue to ponder on what constitutes campaign, how can such be tracked and who applied the sanctions, concerns remain on the impact of such contravention in the face of growing impunity on the nation's electoral space.
Even the English proper, if you situate the way the gatherings are described properly, you will discover that in the case of Labour Party, for instance, they will tell you 1 million man march. Then you look at APC, they will go and print caps and say 1 million man march like we saw in Lagos yesterday. We also saw a couple of days ago in Katsina and all those places. But for us, it is office commissioning outing.
INEC alone cannot do that. They need the collaboration and the partnership with other agencies, because INEC don't have prosecuting power. So they have to rely and work with other, agencies, police. They have to work with the police. They have to work with all other security agencies and the judiciary in order to bring an end to this.
Other sections of the new electoral law also prescribed 1 million naira fine on both political party and individual politicians who contravene the law. It also provides for 12 months imprisonment as penalties for other breaches. Implementation, however, remained a major concern among stakeholders. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Wednesday departed for the United States of America to seek global partnerships and support for Nigeria's recently launched energy transition plan. According to a statement by the Vice President's spokesman, Laolu Akonde, the Vice President will meet his American counterpart, Kamala Harris, World Bank Group, and other partners. The Vice President is leading Nigeria's Energy Transition Implementation Working Group on the U.S. mission, with meetings starting from September 1 to promote the plan and secure global support from the U.S. government, private sector, and other developmental partners. Nigeria's energy transition plan, launched last week, is said to need at least $10 billion per annum above business-as-usual spending for effective implementation. And to legislative matters now, where the House Committee on Finance has frowned at what it described as unfortunate the negligence displayed by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation and most MDAs over some discrepancies noticed in their 2021 remittances to the federal government account. The committee made the observation during day 2 of the ongoing probe into the activities of MDAs, where the Accountant General's Office and 2 other agencies, the Energy Commission and the Oil Spill Detection and Response Agencies, presented conflicting figures to the committee. The committee, which was led by its deputy, Said Abdullahi, blamed the agencies for encouraging gross misappropriation in government. The committee, while discharging the agencies, directed them to reconcile all remittances with the Accountant General's Office and reappear before the committee with documents relating to every transaction from 2021.
We talk about problem of revenue, we talk about issues of debt and what have you. And the reality is, no one will come from anywhere to make this country work for us. We will make it work by ourselves. And this is the way we're going to make it work. It's by talking to ourselves and ensuring that the right thing is done at all spheres of government. So, Director of Finance, you've heard some of the valid points that have been raised. What we have seen from your submission is that in most cases you outspend what you even have as funds in the commission. You are spent, where you have 2.4 billion rather, you spend 2.42 billion, you spend 2.46. I don't think in terms of, how do you even manage a deficit?
For 2021, we have the receipt, treasury receipt, issued to Energy Commission that backed our 100% remittance. We have auction, we generated 553, and then we have refunds, which is 183 million. The total is 13,627,600.
Well, in their records, they have 27 million.
Well, sir, I could.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Office of the Accountant General, what's the source of the additional inflow?
You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still ahead on the news. Concerns over mother tongue survival. Details of this and more after the break. Just stay with us.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. Traders express concern over slow pace of rescue operations after building collapse in Kano. And bandits abduct 4 people in Katsina village. Now in other news, a federal high court in Abuja has rejected an application by suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari seeking to be released from jail on bail. Justice Emeka Nwite held that Kyari had not given sufficient grounds for the application to be granted. The judge said the detained police officer failed to raise new facts in his latest application after being denied the earlier bail request. Kyari's lawyer, Chuba Ekpeazu, had brought the application over alleged threats to his life at the Nigerian Correctional Center in Kuje, Abuja. The lawyer had argued that the application became necessary because Kyari and his colleagues contributed to the arrest and remand of many detainees in the center in the course of their policing duties. Mother tongue refers to a person's native language learned from birth. It is the language that a child gets to hear first and helps give a definite shape to feelings and thoughts. Language embodies culture and other values of the native speakers, and linguists advise that native speakers ought to communicate in their mother tongues to their children to save languages from going extinct. In this report, Noel Sampson sampled opinions and reactions of Nigerians on native dialect extinction in the country. The report.
Modernization has brought about a culture where people prefer to speak in foreign languages, hence neglecting their own indigenous language, also known as mother tongue. This pattern of behavior can mostly be found among the middle-class citizens. This has brought about a lot of concern among Nigerians who still hold high and have value for indigenous language and actually agree to the fact of its disappearance.
The core reason for it going into extinction, I think, is westernization. You see, people who are privileged to travel abroad and upon graduation, they came into Nigeria, so they imported white cultures into Nigeria.
Most of our parents, they no longer speak our indigenous language with their children at home. I don't know how they feel. Some feel it is civilization or socialization. Like I do tell people, your words can speak your mother's language in your homes, but when they get to school, they can speak whatever language they choose to speak.
Civilization have caused a lot of brouhaha in mother tongue because every typical Nigerian child will always go with the second language, which is English. And that is why I doff my cap for people like Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, who used the Swahili as the mother tongue and as the first language in their country. And that is why you find out that there is a level of cultural value, a level of decency, and all the rest of them.
Parents, or rather guardians, we tend to teach our children more of English at home. When you want to talk to them, you send them on errands, we use English language. So that's why our mother tongue has gone into existence.
Reasons for its gradual vanishing state highlighted.
Learning is about interest. Understand, whatever it is you want to learn is about interest. So if I am really interested in my local language, I should see to it that I can at least decently speak it.
In our homes, we should make sure we teach our children how to speak our language. And also, we should name our children after our local names.
We have to go back from the foundation, right away from the kindergarten, to teach these children their mother tongue. And parents should avoid being tempted by the wave of civilization that one who does not speak English is not recognized.
I will encourage parents, guardians, relatives to try, and when you want to talk to your people around, your family members, you use the mother tongue.
It is a fact that mother tongue is actually heading to its death in Nigeria. Losing these languages means losing a great part of humanity, as languages are much more than spoken or written words and sentences. They are also means through which cultures, knowledge, traditions are preserved and transmitted between generations. Noah Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And as the world evolves away from the use of fossil fuels in line with the Paris Conference Agreement, the Director General of the NADDC, Jelani Aliyu, says electric vehicles will help to further foster an eco-friendly environment in the country. He further added that these vehicles are easy to use and technologically friendly, especially for young people. Christina Amodu gives us the details.
The Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, Jelani Aliyu, has said that electric vehicles will help the country benefit from the gains of renewable and sustainable energy. He added that the innovation will help to foster an eco-friendly environment. Aliyu disclosed this during a test drive session of the first assembled electric vehicle at the headquarters of Media Trust Limited in Abuja.
This is a significant milestone. Because it shows that Nigeria as a nation is committed to environmental protection. It will also allow us, like I mentioned earlier, meet the targets of the Paris Accord. It will also spur and expedite technology transfer. It looks advanced. Yes, it is advanced, but it's actually a whole lot simpler technology than a petrol or diesel powered vehicle. This would allow young Nigerians, the youth most especially, to really understand this technology and even come up with new solutions that would be even more advanced and more applicable for Nigeria and Africa.
The first locally assembled electric car was first launched in November 2020 by the Lagos State Governor. The electric car was regarded in the European motoring industry as the world's #1, and it cost 24 million naira. It is imperative to know that the material used to assemble the 100% electric and zero-emission car was mostly sourced locally. Christiana Amodu Otiya, Trust TV News.
And now for a look at the foreign scene, where European Union foreign ministers agreed on Wednesday to fully suspend a visa facilitation agreement with Russia, making it harder and more costly for Russian citizens to enter the EU. The bloc's foreign policy chief, Joseph Borrell, said this at a news conference at the end of a two-day meeting of foreign ministers in Prague. Borrell said the move will significantly reduce the number of new visas issued by the EU member states. Diplomats said the EU ministers could not agree immediately on a blanket ban of travel visas for Russians, as member states were split on the issue. And in sports, Chelsea have completed the signing of Wesley Fofana from Leicester City for a reported record fee of £75 million, including add-ons. The 21-year-old defender joins the Blues on a 7-year contract. The final deal sees Fofana become the most expensive defensive signing in the Blues' history, breaking the previous record set by Mark Cucurella, who joined from Brighton for £62 million earlier in the window. Fofana joined Leicester City in 2020 and was a regular starter under Brendan Rodgers in his maiden season. He missed the majority of the 2021-22 campaign after fracturing his ankle, but returned to full fitness in March and will be ready to integrate straight into the Chelsea squad. He played 52 matches in total for Leicester, 37 of which came in the Premier League. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.